For our Unit 4 lab, we are going to have you guys create a Pig Latin generator. So the link that we've provided to you opens up to this folder, which is a folder in Google Drive. And currently in here, you're going to see two files. You'll have the lab description and you'll have the tester.java class. Now, if you open up this class, you're going to notice that there are a couple phrases. These are the three phrases that you have to be able to translate correctly. You will see that we have a helper method that is going to translate these methods. And within this helper method, we print out a couple, labeling sentences, and then here we are going to call this toPigLatin method. Now you'll notice that this method is called by invoking the class name, and we do that when this is a static method. So just by looking at this line of code, we can tell that toPigLatin is a static method of the PigLatin class. And the reason why we did that is because our PigLatin class does not have variables, doesn't have a constructor. It is simply a collection of methods that all serve the purpose of helping translate something into PigLatin. This tester file you will not change at all. The only thing that you might need to update is your package name. So when we are having you run your code, if you go back to the folder and you look at the description, what I want you to notice here is I want you to notice I tried to spell out everything here very explicitly. So first of all, we recognize that there are many different ways you can convert something to PigLatin. Depending on what you look at will depend upon the rules that you read. And so to help simplify things a little bit, I provided 3 rules that we are going to follow. So there might be other rules, other special cases, but these are the 3 rules that we will follow, and the 3 phrases that I have given you can be completely translated using these 3 rules. So essentially with PigLatin, if your word begins with a consonant, remember a consonant is not a vowel, and our vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So if you begin with a consonant, like in this case of cat or black, you are going to put the consonant at the end of the word and then add the AY at the end. Now if your word happens to have 2 consonants, such as black, in this case, you put the entire consonant cluster at the end, and then you say, you add AY after that. So we have atk or akble. Now, if your word simply begins with a vowel, and again, vowels are A, E, I, O, U, you keep the word the same and just add the string yay to the end. So oval yay, apple yay. Now, if a word begins with a Y, we are going to treat Y as a consonant. So I know sometimes people say, well, Y is like a vowel, and yeah, in some ways it is. However, for our PigLatin rules, depending upon what you follow, the rules that we are going to follow, Y will be treated as a consonant, so it will follow these same rules that we saw up here, and we will move that Y to the end, so we would have for yellow, L-O-Y. Now, a couple of different things that we're going to need to do. So in our class, first of all, we need to create, at a minimum, our toPigLatin method, our translate word to PigLatin method, and at least one other helper method. So I want to explain what we mean by that. So first of all, this toPigLatin method is going to accept an entire phrase. So this is essentially like you telling something, convert this to toPigLatin. This would be like when you go to Google Translate and you give it a sentence in Spanish and you click the magic translate button and it gives it to you in English. Not that any of you ever do that. This would translate the entire phrase. Well, when you think about it, in order to translate an entire phrase, you have to translate every word in that phrase. And so that's what this helper method is going to do. And this helper method will be called inside my toPigLatin method, and this will translate each word individually. So we want to think about, once I'm inside toPigLatin, how am I going to call this method for every single word in my phrase? And then I want to come up with at least one other helper method. You might come up with 2 or 3. You can have as many as you want, but at least one other helper method that you call from within translate word to PigLatin. What we're trying to have you do here is figure out how you can take a task and break it up into smaller tasks. This is a great skill to master, and we want to see how you do with it without us telling you exactly what to do. So one example that I gave you is to use a helper method to check if one of the rules is true or false. So if we look at these rules up here, you could check if one of those rules applies, and then whether or not it is, you return true or false. Some other things to note about our Pig Latin class: there are no instance variables, so don't make any, and there is no constructor, so do not create one. Now, some people, we were trying to think of everything that you students might ask, and some students might ask, well, do we have to check if the input string is null? No, you do not. We will have a valid string. You can assume it's a valid string. You've already seen the strings I'm going to give you, so you can assume it is not null. You do not have to check for that first. Now, some people are thinking, well, what if I try and trick you? What if I try and give you a phrase where there's 3 spaces in between words? I'm not going to do that. I am not trying to trick you here. What I'm going to be doing is every word is separated with 1 space. Now, next, the strings that we're going to give you do not have any punctuation. So you'll notice when you look at them, there's no apostrophes, there's no commas, there's no periods. So that's one thing that we don't have to worry about. That would be an added step to check for, and we're taking that out of this equation here. Now, this last thing, the first letter of the phrase will be capitalized. So the first letter in English will be capitalized. And we expect that the first letter of the output phrase will also be capitalized. So I do not want to see a grammatically incorrect capital letter in the middle of a word. So your code must run flawlessly with our tester program, and this is what your output will look like. So if your code works correctly, when you run it with my tester, you will get this exact output. I've already done all the formatting, all the spacing, all the tabbing. All you need to do is the hard work to convert it into Pig Latin. Now, when it's time to submit your code, I know we had some issues last time with what we could and couldn't do in the lab. So we're going to keep it simple. You're going to make one Google Doc, and at the top, you're going to put your full name, your teacher, and class period. Second, if you use dark mode, I know that everyone thinks dark mode is the best and we love it, blah, blah, blah. However, it is horrendous when you copy and paste your code and we have to look at it. It looks like it is highlighted in black, okay? So we would like for you to please, please, pretty please, with like 5 cherries on top, change your theme to be IntelliJ Light, at least for when you are doing your copy and pasting. On my Mac, I get to that by going to Preferences, Appearance, Theme. On Windows, it might be under Settings. I'm not positive what the controls say, but if you go into the section where you can do settings, if you just search in the search window for theme, you'll be able to find it. And then there's a drop down here, and that's how you turn it to IntelliJ Light. And then when you want to turn it back, you can turn it back to Darkula. So after you've done that, take a screen clip of your output, insert it in the doc, copy your .java code for your piglatin.java class and paste it in the doc. I don't need the tester because I wrote the tester, okay? Once you've done that, you download it as a PDF, and then you're going to upload the PDF to Schoology. And that's it. So we will be, I've already posted this assignment on the calendar, so many of you have already looked at it. We'll have time in class to work on it over the next few days. And if you have any questions, talk with your teacher. If you're in Mr. Nicholas's class, I know he's out, celebrating that whole baby fun. If you need help, I can assist 8th hour. I could also pop in during 1st hour and answer questions. I just need someone to let me know. So if you guys need help, let me know. I'm in room 221, 1st and 8th hour. You can always have, just communicate with me. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful day and good luck with your Pig Latin conversion.